Headaches were not something normally part of the Sangrati physique. It was a distinctly human thing, something related to stress and frustration tensing muscles in the back and neck, causing pain in the upper head area. She remembered from her studies of human biology before accepting a position as guest researcher and lecturer as part of the human Sangrati exchange program that had been born at the outset of the war against the extragalactical intruders. Yet Baroness Estraude Guathoc needed to massage her nasal bone all the way up to the top of her head at the scene in front of her. When she had accepted the position at the Royal Institute of Technology Stockholm, a quaint city surrounded by water on the northern hemisphere of Earth, she had expected to find the higher education system of the humans strange and alien. She had been prepared for the absolutely horrendous climate changes that happen yearly due to the planet's massive tilt, and she had expected strange food and strange customs, being resolved to come to the humans with an open mind and be appreciative of their hospitality. But this challenged her resolve. Despite being in a so-called VIP seat, she had a very good view of the wanton destruction and complete disregard of art, sense and purpose down below. A small robot, controlled by an AI, attempted to navigate an ever-changing labyrinth filled with death traps in the form of crushing presses, fire pits, oiled inclines with rotating saw blades at the bottom and many others. The little thing ran on wheels and speedily dipped between the traps, with a goofy and silly happy little face with dishevelled hair painted on top of it. Not far below her, a team of students were observing lines of code for the self-learning AI of the robot scrolling by on the screen, yelling and pointing and now and then furiously typing on their input devices and sending updates to the little machine that so bravely tried to survive. Alas, it was all for naught. As it slid down an oiled incline, it was finally caught by saw blades that ripped the poor thing to shreds, splitting and flinging scraps of metal and rubber and internal electronics in all directions, to the cheers and jeers of the audience. "Team Pentrolette are out," the announcer boomed over the loudspeakers, which was met with applause, cheers and whistles. She glanced down to the 4 young humans, 2 male and 2 female, wiping sweat from their brows and wistfully looking at the pile of scrap that had so recently been the sum of at least half a year's efforts. She made her decision, rose and walked slightly awkwardly down the stairs to the box where the younglings had been working so furiously. She saw one of their colleagues at the university had joined them, speaking of the experience. "That was a great show, Sarah, Emil, Carlo and Bernice," he said with a wide smile, and she was surprised to see the youngsters returning it. "While others have gotten further, none have ever survived too long in time. What are your initial analysis?" "Well, we should have had an anti-spinning module. Once the wheels got oily, Pentrolette got confused on where it was due to the wheel spinning, and I think the attempt to locate where she was did her in. That moment's hesitation and she slid down the incline," said one of the female youngsters. This prompted a heated and passionate discussion among the team, one she had a hard time following. "I must say I am impressed," she said, and watched as all 5 froze and turned to her, the youngsters wide-eyed. "But I must ask, why?" "What do you mean, Baroness?" one of the youngsters asked timidly. "Why? Why would you spend 4 times 6 months building a robot and programming a self-learning AI for it, and set an update in real time only to have it utterly destroyed?" She shook her head and was for once glad humans could not read Sangrati upper arm hair. What was normally a hindrance in communication now prevented her less than diplomatic sentiments from being obvious. "We'll get a good grade," one of the youngsters said with a smile so wide she was sure it would split the human side-mounted ears apart. "That they will," her colleague said with an almost as wide smile. "But all that effort for nothing," she protested. "Not for nothing, we learned," one of the youngsters protested. She sighed. "So much beauty, so much effort. Why don't you just whack the robot while you're at it?" "The bob battles don't start until tomorrow, Baroness," one of the youngsters said with a smile that was decidedly predatory in nature. One could even imagine her as Sangrati in that moment. She realized she still had much to learn of the humans, and their preference to learn with fun and tough opposition.